A very good afternoon, Speaker. Educational policy is a very important factor that determines the growth and development of the nation. And I stand here today to oppose this policy because it contains a number of problematic features which would make it inefficient. The policy pushes for the usage of regional languages as a medium of instruction, English as a second language, and a modern Indian language as a third language. Respected Speaker, the first problem begins with the fact that the Indian states have a very diverse population demographic. Take, for example, our state, Meghalaya. Our population consists of a number of communities with each their own language and dialects. How then can we select a regional language when so many are spoken? Will this not cause an upsurge of confusion among schools over which language to select? And what will become of the interests of the children who do not speak nor understand the language? The second problem, respected Speaker, lies with the lack of translation and the possibility of translation. There are some subjects, such as science, which are so specialized that they have a terminology and symbolism of their own. This would make it very difficult, if not impossible, to translate them all. And translations take time. Once we are done with the translation in today's world, it would have become outdated. If there is a lack of uniformity in the development of languages, we run a risk of unequal opportunities in competitive examinations. Is this not a cause of great concern? In addition, if children become accustomed to regional languages, will this not isolate them from the rest of the world and lead to a stunt in the growth of globalization? Respected Speaker, the third problem is the threat that this policy poses to the very foundation of India's unity. It promotes regionalism, which, if unchecked, will create a number of problems for India in the future. If the country's aim is to promote national unity and preservation of culture, then why not adopt the two-language policy? Tamil Nadu and Singapore have implemented this policy, and there is nothing wrong with their education, as my friends have already pointed out before. The fourth issue, respected Speaker, I would like to highlight is the heavy academic burden that it places on young minds. A survey conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization found that 10% of school-going children in India suffer from mental health issues, with academic stress as a leading factor. Now, is our youth's mental health really worth sacrificing over an academic grade? And how will learning a third language affect a child's career? Subjects like science and economics have no relation whatsoever to a modern Indian language. So why is there a need to learn a third language? Respected Speaker, lastly, I would like to point out that this policy demands for a large amount of economic and human resources. Is India prepared to meet this demand? States like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and many more have agitated over the implementation of this policy. There are some states that have said that they are unprepared to meet the taxing demands of this policy. Is it right then to implement a policy that creates chaos that is not only educational but also political in nature? In conclusion, respected Speaker, while I do not doubt that the intentions of the government are for the best, I will not stand here and support a policy which is faulty and flawed. The future generations of this nation are our children, and we as members of the present generation are responsible for giving them the best policies and education possible. I have full faith that every person in this room here today only hopes for the best version of the future to unfold. However, in order to achieve that, we must start by educating our youth about it. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, respected jury members and everyone seated over here. The motion of the House is three-language formula, its importance in school education. But maybe before going on to why do I support the motion, I'd love to rebuttal and kind of tell the opposition that India is very, very fit for the newest policy because ये नया भारत है, ये policy बनाएगा भी, implement भी करेगा और सबसे right way में करेगा. The three-language policy came into being in the year 2020 on 29th August, which outlines the vision of a new education system in India. And this policy was adopted by the government of India for India's ascent in the education sector. But even though it is the need of the hour, many people across the nation has debated on it, and the opposition is quite an example to that. And so on that note, I'd love to question the opposition as to why they don't believe in a government that they have elected themselves. Why don't they believe in a policy made by a government that they have elected? And even then, why don't they believe in a government that wants to work for its people? We'll certainly leave that as food for thought. Madam Speaker, the three-language approach of NEP 2020 is a total hit. And why do I say that? Because the three-language policy has been a total game changer. High-quality textbooks, including science, has been made available in mother tongues to bridge the gap between a child's mother tongue and English literature. Let us take a very daily life example of that. I belong to the state of Assam, where most students study in a government school and they aren't fostered in an environment where speaking English would just be it. So aren't we supposed to be provided with the right to understand science in our native language? Shouldn't we also fall in love with our native language, and shouldn't we fall in the absolute love of science, but that too in our native language? But without the establishing of multilingual concept, how can they love science? How can they even love their mother tongue? And how can they not feel inferior to any other? Madam Speaker, the opposition seems to clearly have an issue with the three-language formula. But I guess they really aren't clear with the implementation and how does it work? I understand you, dear opposition, and I get that you don't like the idea of going through the whole draft of the policy, as in why to invest time and effort while just opposing the motion comes easy and handy. But Madam Speaker, I'd love to highlight that no language, I repeat, no language will be imposed on anyone. And how is the opposition constantly attacking Khasi when Khasi wouldn't be forced on anyone? I am not forcing on you, the government is not forcing on you. It's basically your choice. It's the student's choice to take up Khasi or not. Keep a hand on your heart. Don't you feel bad to attack Khasi, your own mother tongue, your own mother language, just to defend your motion, just to defend what you feel, and just to be on the stage and act all dramatic. And how can someone look down upon the thought and plan of action of the government when it's trying its best to keep our languages alive in the heart of the students? So the opposition, बाहर से अलग नहीं, बाहर से भी same है और अंदर से भी same है. It's all Indian languages, and the student will be given a chance to choose. Also, Madam Speaker, you talked about linguistic rights, but don't you think so? The opposition, with all their arguments, basically says that it's all baseless, and they don't want to impose any linguistic rights on any kid. Isn't that a violation of linguistic rights and human rights? Also, my very worthy opponent said that he doesn't want to invest his time in 3 different women. So he basically wants to land up with a red flag or maybe because his time is very important to him. So ended up with a red flag is way more important. So I love to sum up my points, even though I had a lot to say, but due to paucity of time, I have to refrain myself. But I'll stand with the motion till my last breath. Thank you.
I would like to begin with these words. Language is for education, not education is for language. Respected Speaker Ma'am, I strongly oppose three-language formula and its importance in school education. Respected Speaker Ma'am, we have seen that the three-language formula has been placed for more than 56 years. Yet, its intended objective has yet not been achieved. Its purpose itself remains ambiguous. We have heard from our friend that Tamil Nadu using only two-language formula, and its literacy rate is 80.09%, and it works well. Now, coming to the current situation, respected Speaker Ma'am, as per NEP 2020, it has given flexibility to the students that out of three-language, two-language should be of Indian languages. Now, if you look into the formula itself, respected Speaker Ma'am, in Hindi-speaking state, modern Indian languages, Sanskrit has become prominent. Now, it creates a shortcut or a bypass for them. In a sense that in many Hindi-speaking states, instead of any modern Indian languages, Sanskrit become a third language. Now, this already defeated the purpose of three-language formula to promote interstate communication. Now, another point, respected Speaker Ma'am, the three-language formula has not been implemented effectively all over the country. Different states interpreted the formula in different ways. And as a result, implementation is uneven. A case study done by Sarah Jubala Devi on three-language formula in Northeast State, where she found that the three-language formula is not implemented in the spirit and in the sense that the language designation is confusing and it is problematic. In our state, we've learned English before developing oracy and literacy in mother tongue. Yes, mother tongue. This is again according to NEP 2020, respected Speaker Ma'am. Mother tongue correlates to better understanding. However, given the diversity of language and dialects in our country and growth of internal migration, it's impossible to implement the three-language or impossible to implement a mother-based learning in our country. Let me give an example here in Meghalaya. We have three basic tribes. They speak Khasi and Garo. They have their own different dialects. Now, in our own Khasi state itself, in East Khasi Hill, especially in Shillong. Now, what happened here is that they speak different dialects than the other Khasis. Now, the question here arises, respected Speaker Ma'am, how will the appropriate authority will determine the language for which the education will take place in school? In that case, the policy itself might result in the position of majority language on the unwilling students. Now, another worst scenario or another roadblock here in our country are the qualified teachers. Respected Speaker Ma'am, I would like to highlight, according to NEP 2020 itself, in Chapter 22, Paragraph 7. Additionally, there has been a scarcity of skilled language teachers, despite the various measures taken. Now, according to UNESCO, 11.6 lakh of teaching jobs still lies unfilled or vacant. Now, this is because of the unqualified teachers. How we are going to address to that? And again, adding to that, respected Speaker Ma'am, Chapter 22, Paragraph 6, the lack of resources. India has been quite slow in producing optically vibrant and optically vibrant dictionaries with current integrity. Now, in my opinion, the three-language formula is a burden to the students. It should focus from core subject to languages. A three-language formula in our educational system is crumbling
at so many levels. What is required by NEP 2020 is to take a baby step. That also by pressing an old remedy, which didn't work for the last 56 years. Implementation is a big challenges than ideas. We all have ideas, we all have great vision, but to translate that to reality, that's where it falters. Thank you so much.
Languages are a key to understanding different cultures and to create unity within diversity. Respected Speaker Ma'am and respected judges, and to one I present here, I am Vidisha Gogoi, standing here to firmly support the motion, the three-language formula and its benefits in school education. Respected Speaker Ma'am, we have two keywords in the statement. First, the three-language formula, which is a system to enhance multilingualism in India, and secondly, school education. We all know in school, people from different backgrounds come together to gather knowledge. Now let's move to the main point. Respected Speaker Ma'am, the benefits of the three-language formula. We all know that India is a multilingual treasure trove, and the three-language formula can promote, unite all the cultures and languages of India. Respected Speaker Ma'am, let me give a fine example. I have one of my friends who is an army kid, and she has been to every corner of India and she knows all the languages and can also write. But now the government has introduced it through school education, because not everyone can roam to the corners of the country, right? So therefore we have education. Respected Speaker Ma'am, the opposition bench claimed that the three-language formula can be quite hectic and it can burden the students. But respected Speaker Ma'am, on a daily basis, we can see students getting engaged with those Korean culture and K-pop. And because of that, they tend to learn those languages in between their hectic schedule and take up online classes paying. That's not a matter of argument, right? But it's a matter of argument when it comes to the languages of our motherland. Are we afraid to embrace the languages of our motherland? Why is it's a point of argumentation when this is coming to the languages of our motherland? Respected Speaker Ma'am, students outside India take up 7 to 8 online classes just to learn different languages. But here, the government is providing, and still people here are giving invalid arguments, just opposing that motion. Why? Respected Speaker Ma'am, proficiency in having multilingualism also promotes one's career. Respected Speaker Ma'am, according to Harvard Business Review, 35% of the Indians working in USA knows 4 or 5 different languages. Isn't this a way to also introduce the Indian culture in worldwide? And also, respected Speaker Ma'am, this also enhances their skills in front of the interviewer. And same happens in India. It will also increase your employment rate. Respected Speaker Ma'am, around 40% of the Indians work abroad. And in order to fit in that country or place, they tend to learn those languages in between their hectic schedule. And if that person has a base of multilingualism right from their school, don't you think it will be easy for the person to learn that particular language? Respected Speaker Ma'am, according the researchers at Cambridge University has claimed that individuals who are multilingual are more efficient and have more cognitive skills because of their ability to switch up, to challenge their mind to switch up to different languages. And respected Speaker Ma'am, the opposition bench has also said that there are lack of teachers. Should we stop education because there are lack of teachers? No, right? But rather we should focus on improving the education system. Also, the opposition bench has also said that if you go to the northern side, if you don't know how to speak Hindi, you will consider inferior. But this is the main policy of three language system. Because of this, only people will know that there are more languages in India other than Hindi or something else. This is the main motive of the three-language formula. But here we are having invalid arguments to it. Respected Speaker Ma'am, the opposition bench has also claimed about Singapore. Let me tell you, Singapore is not a multilingual and diverse country like India. And the Singapore students as also co-curricular classes where they take up different languages around the world. So this case is different, right? Respected speaker ma'am, I would like to end my speech by stating that life is too short to just stick to 2 or 3 languages. Thank you, and I hope your linguistic skills are as wide as the universe. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, respected Speaker ma'am and respected jury. Myself, Frankie K. Lamandashna, representing Sankardeo College, and I hereby stand against the motion. Following are the points that I will be stating are, Madam Speaker, point number 1, resource management. Implementing the 3-language formula may require significant resources, which include training the teachers, bringing formula by the system. Thank you.
Respected Speaker, I stand here in favor of the 3-language formula. It's important in school education. How does this 3-language formula important in school education? Firstly, it promotes multilingualism. Multilingualism helps the students to have a communication skills. And on top of that, research clearly showed that the 3-language formula, multilingualism, helps in cognitive development, in problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and multitasking. Respected Speaker, the NEP 2020 facilitates the use of mother tongue at the foundational stage. Using the mother tongue at the foundational stage, it will help the student to grasp and understand the concept much more clearer. Using mother tongue as a means of communication will help the students to express their thoughts and ideas freely. And on top of that, it will help them to be deep-rooted in one's own culture. In one of the recent talk shows, O.M. Shalom, his retired associate professor, he said that educate a child in his mother tongue, he will go home and talk about it and thus in turn educate the society. In support of the above statement, Article 350A of Indian Constitution, it said that it facilitate the use of mother tongue at the primary stage, primary education. In the words of Nelson Mandela, talk to a man in a language he understands, it will go to his head. But if you talk to a man in his language, it will go to his heart. Thirdly, respected Speaker, learning classical language such as Sanskrit and modern Indian language has great literature. It is a storehouse of knowledge from ancient till modern. In fact, students come and draw inspiration from great philosophers and scientists such as Chanakya, Aryabhata, Rabindranath Tagore. And on top of that, the NEP 2020 want to preserve this distinct culture and make them alive and vibrant. Article 26 of the Indian Constitution protect this distinct language and culture. Respected Speaker, learning Indian language, especially Hindi, in the northeastern and the south India will help the students in the long run if they want to pursue their higher study outside the states. Proficiency in Hindi will help the students to open up various employment in various sectors such as in government, business, trade, and film industries. The 3-language formula, it will invite the spirit of language and friends, this will broad our mindset. My worthy opponent, they said that three language formula is not practical. My dear, if we look upon that banner here, most of you talk about only three language. When you look upon the banner, it said three language formula. Please understand the concept very carefully. And I stand my ground here to promote this three language formula, in favor of the three language formula. One of my friends said that three language formula promotes regionalism. Why did you blame the three language formula? Regionalism has been there since India got its independence. In conclusion, Dr. Lamare said, let us take this three language formula as a language of opportunity. Thank you.
So good afternoon to each one of us, and especially our honorable speaker. So I am here to stand and speak against the motion on the topic three language formula. It's important in school education. I personally myself, I strongly disagree regarding this particular matter. Why I disagree this particular matter? This is the policy that affects the people of the country, not only Northeast India and not only the people as a whole, but then it affects especially the opinion of the people, especially in the southern India like Tamil Nadu. If we see the attempt of this national education policy in 2019, it clearly mentioned that the third language in the non-Hindi speaking state, it should be only English. But due to some oppose by the southern Indian state, that this NEP, they reframe and they put as optional that in the non-Hindi speaking state, in the third language, there should be English or Hindi or any modern Indian language. So, to sum up the point that the motions they have speak and they review the point. One is about the uniformity. They speak about the uniformity. As we know that India is a diverse country with many people practice their own culture and language. How can we bring into uniformity? And also, one of the speaker from the motion, she speak that why don't you believe the policy making by them if you already elected them as the member to make this policy? I strongly disagree with this statement that made by the motion, because if we agree this one without thinking twice whether this policy it will have or not that effect or that impact to our future generation, then if we just agree without thinking twice or deeply or beyond, that means we have to remove this article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution, because it says that we have the right to freedom of speech and expression. So that's why many states, especially the Tamil Nadu in southern India, they strongly oppose and disagree with this policy because they understand, because they think deeply that this policy will have the effect to the future generation. And a lot of people think that this policy will push Hindi to the southern Indian state and all over country of our India, and to make Hindi as a national language. So that's why they oppose this particular policy. And then, if we think about Meghalaya, I understand myself because I am from the rural area, so many people don't even understand Hindi. They know better their own regional language, Khasi and English. So when you go there and ask about Hindi, they don't understand Hindi because they learn only two language formula, that is regional language Khasi and English. So if we implement this policy, we have to think twice regarding the resources, whether we can or not to implement this one. If look the example in Meghalaya in last year on March 2023 when the assembly discussion, the budget discussion going on, when the governor of Meghalaya, Prabhu Chauhan, he addressed in the house in Hindi. So many of the MLAs of the opposition party, they walk away from the house because it is not according to the sentiment of the people of the state, and many of them they don't understand. So we are in, especially Khasi, we are in the, our Khasi language is still in agenda proposal that we will be in the schedule. So if we don't maintain that our regional language should be used in majority widespread, that's mean our language will be not included in the schedule. And before I conclude, I would like to say that we should not make that language to divide our country. Rather than we should understand that we live in a diverse country like India, that we should stand together as one nation, like we lived before, like we can practice anything we like according to our point of view that it will benefit us. Because if we just learn without understanding in what way they will help us, that means it's wrong opinion. So this is the point of view that I present here today. Thank you.
So 80 speakers have articulated their point of view, their position, those from the Treasury and also from the opposition. And we are about to close this debate. I invite the mover of the motion to take her place, and you will be given 2 to 4 minutes time. Then followed by the mover of the
बढ़ेगा इंडिया तो ही बढ़ेगा. But if we don't allow our students to grow, flourish, learn, अरे भाई इंडिया बढ़ेगा कैसे? English has been prevalent in India only after colonization. With respect to terminologies which has been talked by my opposition, Ganit, Itihas, Bhugol, Vigyan existed even when English in India didn't. And to talk about what is hectic, academic pressure, overload, surprise, surprise. ICC students have been doing it way before NEP has been a thing. I have had 3 languages of paper, English, Bangla and Hindi. Language is surely a medium, but a student can relate to friends, cry to Arijit Singh, and read poetries by their regional poet, and still find this burdening. Well, I appreciate my opponents willing to witness a crippled, insecure and unemployed youth coming up. But I strongly wouldn't want that. Is India ready for this change? Yes. Do we have enough? Yes. So therefore, 1, 2, 3, पढ़ाई होगी easy. समझेगा गली का हर बच्चा, बढ़ेगा हमारा भारत. Thank you.
Asking alumni and asking knowledge is 2 different things. Respected speaker, ma'am. Learning Korean and Japanese to understand K-dramas is far better than learning the concept of history, physics, chemistry, biology, economics, so on and so forth. Respected speaker, ma'am. Yes, I agree we have diversity in languages. But how many languages we are able to speak, to understand? To read and write? 1, 2, 3? If someone is there to speak more than 5 languages, then hats off to that person. But every finger in my hand are not equal. So we can't expect every child's mind is same, have the same potential to grab 3 different languages fluently. No, we can't expect that. Respected speaker, ma'am, it is a fact that a child come from multilingual background could not grab one language perfectly, being confused where what to speak. पापा का भाषा सीखूं, मम्मी का भाषा सीखूं, अरे दादी पंजाबी है वो सीख लूं, अरे नहीं नहीं दादाजी मराठी है वो सीख लेते हैं. Confused in too many languages, going to get nothing. And respected speaker ma'am, I just want to say that not everything is बाहर से जैसा है अंदर से भी वैसा है. There is a proverb, don't judge a book by its cover. Whatever is inside doesn't mean it seems alike outside. Two different things, अंदर से अलग, बाहर से अलग. And at last, I just want to say, respected speaker ma'am, the more the option, the more is the confusion. Thank you.
All right, so we've heard the mover from the Treasury summing up the points on behalf of the Treasury bench, and you also have the mover from the opposition summing up the main points. What do we say? My role is to summarize the different points. And if I have to summarize, well, it will take half an hour for me to summarize. But I will do it. I will do justice to this position. And I will try to put it in a nutshell. The three-language formula, its importance in school education. It was 2 hours long of hearing out the point of view, the arguments that was forwarded. Now, if I have to sum up, members of the Treasury bench, they have, articulated their stand that it is important for school education. And what are the points, the viewpoints that they have given? If I remember, and judiciously I would put it, they brought out 3 main points, 3 main functions. One is accommodating group identity. Number 2, affirming national unity. And third, a bit of here and there on administrative efficiency. Now, furthermore, they also brought out one speaker after another had pointed out this again and again, and that is where they pointed out, reiterated on the importance of the three-language formula. Number 1, if you agree with me, they spoke about linguistic diversity. Number 2, cultural understanding. Number 3, national integration. Number 4, cognitive benefits. If I have to analyze the points that they had forwarded and put before the audience and the respected judges, I would say that their line of argument is more from the personal, social, and educational. On the other hand, the arguments put forward, articulated by the worthy members of the opposition, it was against those points. They did not agree that it will lead to unity. Instead, one very point that was articulated, it was that of regionalism. If this is being promoted, the danger awaits for the nation. On the other hand, they look at it from the economic perspective. When they brought out the GDP of the country, when they also brought out the experience of the states in the south, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Furthermore, we find that they talk about political aspect, that let us not politicize, no politicization in education. And if I remember clearly, one member spoke about one religion and one nation. That is how they towed the line to defend, to be against this motion on it is not important in school education. And 2-3 members pointed out, if it is so important, 56 years have long passed, and we are talking about it today. Right from 1948 to 49 till today. So what do we have to conclude? There are other points that, they talk about. It is flawed, it is faulty. They look at it from the resource management point, and they also, while the members of the Treasury spoke about Sanskrit, the members of the opposition, one member spoke about that is Sanskrit, questioning, is Sanskrit a regional language? So there was healthy rebutting. There was also from both ends, and we appreciate, and for audience who have looked at this, listened to this, it was, you complied, you obeyed, and you followed the rules. Now, if I have to sum up, what do I say? I will go back to 1968. 1986 is a very important policy, and NEP 2020 is a much talked policy. But I would like to sum up with this, trying to balance both the Treasury, the point of view of the Treasury, and the opposition. I would like to take first this line. The 3-language formula represents a unity in diversity. These are not my words. This formula was greatly emphasized by NEP 1968, which stated that the energetic development of Indian languages and literature is the sine qua non for educational and cultural development. Unless this is done, the creative energies of the people will not be released, standards of education will not improve, knowledge will not spread to the people, and the gulf between the intelligentsia and the masses will remain, if not widen further. On one hand, it took care of their point of view, and on the other hand, it took care of the implementation, which the members of the opposition have time and again reiterated. What about resources? What about training? What about other aspects? Now, language planning, it has been a difficult task for the country. Language planning in India should address the problems of the different sections of the society. You try to speak in Hindi, mixed with Khasi, then followed by English. Or it could be the other way. But at the end of the day, what do we take from there? So, every attempt should be made to maintain and develop not only the dominant languages.
Please the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major
Madam Speaker, Dr. B. Buang, a small token of appreciation on behalf of College of Teacher Education, PGT.
She was my student. Well, I feel honored, like to see that they have, that she has taken this responsibility. And thank you so much. My blessings on you and the college.
And now, Dr. R. Doctor, to kindly give a small token of appreciation to one of our judges, Dr. R. Rendathian. Unfortunately, sir has to leave us. He had to leave us for some work. So thank you so much once again. We are honored to have you here. Thank you so much. Alright, now we have the prizes and we've come to the moment that we've all been waiting for. So the winning team, we shall first declare the winning team, and to give away the prize to the winning team, I would like to invite up on stage Dr. Mrs. M. A. Java, a senior faculty from College of Teacher Education, PGT, to kindly give away the prizes for the winning team. So any guesses? Who is the winning team? Would it be the team that went for the motion, or is it the team that went against the motion? Any guesses? Can we get louder? Alright. And the winning team goes to the team that stood against the motion. And I request the leader of the team to come in first, followed by the other team members. Any guesses who might be the best speaker? If you don't remember the name, you might state the name of the college as well. Any guesses? Any guesses? To give away the prize for the best speaker, I would like to invite on stage Dr. Mrs. R. Tokpe, Principal in Charge, to give away the prize to the best speaker. And the best speaker for today's debate competition, inter-college debate competition, goes to none other than Miss Noella Roy Kharpranwashu, representing St. Mary's College. software to also give the certificates of participation to our participants. We humbly request Adrita Bhattacharjee to kindly come and collect your certificate. We also request Milako Krushisha Ringa to kindly come and collect your certificate. We also request Batkar Shan Dolly to kindly come and collect your certificate of participation. We humbly request Ruchira Gupta to kindly come and collect your certificate. We also request Isabel and Lindra to also come and collect your certificate. We humbly request Vidhyamiki Ringhal to kindly come and collect the certificate. We also request Shrayachi Vedasha Shruti to kindly come and collect the certificate. We also request Beautisha Gogoi to kindly come and collect your certificate. And we request Boroy Lamasindra to kindly come and collect your certificate. Thank you so much, ma'am. And once again, a very big congratulations to all the winners and to all the participants. It is so much time here and you've made it, and we do hope that you continue to debate and may you always prosper. So we've come to the end of this inter-college debate competition, and I would now like to invite up on stage Felicia Shampru, a student teacher of the College of Teacher Education, fourth semester, to kindly deliver us with her vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone present here today. As we draw the curtains on this exhilarating inter-college debate competition, I, Felicia Shampru, on behalf of the College of Teacher Education PGT, extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and everyone who have made this event a resounding success. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our esteemed principal, Dr. Mrs. R.M. Tongper, whose unwavering support and guidance have been instrumental in organizing this event. Your commitment to fostering academic excellence has inspired us all. Thank you, ma'am. A heartfelt thank you also goes to the coordinator of this event, Dr. Mrs. M.A. Jadwa, who is the driving force behind this competition. Your dedication, attention to details, and tireless effort have ensured the smooth execution of every aspect of this event. To our distinguished judges, Dr. Binoy Datta and Dr. Rihunlang Rimbai. Thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, for lending us your expertise, time, and impartial judgment. Your insightful feedback has undoubtedly enriched the experience for all the participants. A special word of appreciation also goes to the articulator of the debate, Dr. B.H. Buang. Thank you, ma'am, for your vision, passion, and dedication. It has been instrumental in shaping the competition into a platform for intellectual discourse and exchange of ideas. Your unwavering commitment to fostering critical thinking and eloquent expression has inspired us all. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the participants, colleges, who have brought the intellect and passion to the stage. Your enthusiasm and competitive spirit have truly made this event a memorable one. To our special performers who sang delightfully, thank you for the performance. It has added an extra layer of entertainment and excitement to this event. Your talents have been a delight to witness. Last but certainly not the least, a big thank you to all the teaching, non-teaching staff, volunteers, council members, and to everyone who have contributed in any way to make this debate a grand success. Your support and dedication have been invaluable. In conclusion, let us cherish the memories created during this inter-college debate competition and continue to strive for excellence in all our endeavors. Thank you once again, and to everyone involved in making this debate a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felicia. So with that, we've come to the end of today's inter-college debate competition. Thank you so much to all the participants. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to our judges. Thank you so much. Today has in fact been a very productive day to every one of us who are here. We fed our minds real well, and we do hope that you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much for your participation, and may you stay blessed. So right away, I would also like to request the winners of the winning team to kindly come up on stage for their pictures. We also request all the participants, even from the other team, to kindly be on stage for pictures. We humbly request the participants who has the trophies, if you wish to have the case, you can visit the song booth. So with that, thank you so much, and participants, do join us for lunch, the teachers as well, do join us for lunch. Thank you.